Hello and welcome to the KEDICHO Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to episode number 1.
Episode number 1, finally here.
Aplausos.
Yay! So, this is the podcast in where we dive deep into the dichos we grew up hearing from our parents and grandparents and our family members and everybody who throws dichos at you,
I was so
growing
excited.
up. So, yeah.
Let's get into it.
Definitely, let's get into it. In this episode, we're going to be diving deep into our first dicho. It's not the first dicho ever, but it's the one that we picked today. And that is, Poco a poco se anda lejos.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Translate that for us, please, real quick. The dicho. Can you do that?
Oh, okay.
Before we
So,
start.
el dicho, poco a poco se anda lejos, translate to little by little, you get to reach real far.
There you go. Or the way I would translate it is, little by little, you'll go far. Mm?
Oh, that sounds way better than
Yeah.
mine. Mine's like literally, it's complicating it.
No,
or
it's
whatever.
like everybody has their own rephrasing of what it means to them.
Right, when it comes to like going from Spanish to English.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, have you ever heard of that dicho before?
Poco a poco se anda lejos. Actually, not in that form.
In what form then? What? Why? Huh?
Maybe it has nothing to do with this one, but like the one I came, it's like caminando miendo. Come on, caminando miendo.
Isn't that a song?
Well, they made it into a song, I guess, because it's such a catchy thingy. But
Wait, what does that mean?
caminando miendo is
That means like
you need to do
be
this
productive.
and
right?
at the same time be doing this, like multitask type of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that one doesn't connect with this one.
No, it does not, Mr. Sir.
Then the other, and it's also not a good one either, I think. Caminando miendo.
Caminando, miendo.
Eh.
Caminando.
It's a good song, but
Yeah.
but wise, not that much, because I think multitasking, it's a miss and it doesn't really help you. And actually, you can't do multiple things at once. You get too distracted and you get too broad, and that's why this one comes in more. It's more wise, and it's actually one that's lasted so long, and it's a good one to share with people because it forces you to focus on little actions.
Mm-hmm.
Like do that one step,
Baby steps.
then do that next one. Don't worry about anything else. Just focus on the step in front of you.
Yeah.
And then once you start doing those little steps, poquito, 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 and all of a sudden, you got to the other side already of the hill.
So, Poco a poco se anda lejos to me reminds me of that story that I learned in kindergarten. So, the rabbit is this high and mighty compared to the turtle when it comes to this race that they're doing around town or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up racing the turtle and he has obstacles in the way. I don't know what happened. Oh no, I think in this story, he's so full of himself that he's so confident that he's going to win that he takes a nap in the middle of the race. And the turtle is just going really slow. Eventually, he passes the rabbit who's asleep, and then the turtle actually ends up winning.
From the point of view of the tortoise,
The tortoise, there you go. That was the term. The tortoise.
The tortoise, he was taking little steps
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on just like the next
Focusing
little
on
steps that he
what
was
he
doing.
has to do. It's just like, okay, I'm just going to do this race and I'm going to not worry about anything else. Just step
Right.
by step. Don't worry about what the next person's doing. Don't worry about how the other person feels about you doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to focus on the finish line, literally, for him in his case. And that's what he did.
And because he did that, he eventually arrived at the destination before.
Because he was focused on what he needed to be doing.
Right. And the hare, what he did wrong was he was confident. He had the ability. He was faster. But confident and faster does not guarantee that you're going to take those steps forward. You can stop in the middle and say like, I got this. I've gotten far enough to from the race or the objective where I wanted to arrive, that I can take a little break, and or I can do something else. I can
Yeah.
worry my mind on doing something else. In this case, he took a nap, thinking that it was gonna be enough for him to wake up and then finish the
And
race.
still be faster than him.
Right. So he get distracted. That's the thing that he did.
Isn't there another saying? There we go. Sorry. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And who ends up winning? The one who puts in the work.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a tortoise or a hare.
And so that hard work, it's visualized, or you can see it in the poco a poco part of the dicho. You have to be putting in the work on the little steps, on the little tasks, if you want to see it that way, on the little tasks that are just in front of you. Don't worry about the long ones, because that's the finish line, right? Don't worry about those yet. Worry about the one that you have right in front of you, the poquito. What can you do right now?
What can
That's
you
a
do
little
today that makes
Yeah.
a difference for tomorrow? That'll make a difference for next week. That'll make a difference for next month.
Exactly.
That'll make a difference for next year.
That's how you can build a very successful business, a really successful year in school. I think that's why it's such a good dicho, or such a good saying that made it
It's a wise saying, yeah.
across time, that made it to this today. The fact that we are hearing this today.
That made us to this point as well, because I believe it. I mean, I didn't know about this saying, this dicho. I didn't know about it until I started researching. But when I saw it, that really did resonate with me a lot. I was like, you know what? That is so true. It's the little things that count.
Yes. It's the little actions, the little hard work you put in every day that makes the difference.
Yeah. It's not about the podcast itself that is meaningful. It's those little steps that we took that are like, wow, we really made it to this point. How I see our journey is we're going on a stair, and it's just going up.
Okay.
Like eventually we'll be in our end goal, but we're not there yet. But we're no longer down here where we used to be when we had just like started dating, or when we just started our YouTube channel for funsies.
Okay, so you're seeing it more as like a life, bigger point of view.
Yes.
I kind of was just
projects.
seeing, if we were to tell the story of how we even got to our first festival, the whole thing, it's a whole that's a success story.
Yeah.
But if we see it on the whole trajectory of the business that we started, that festival was only like a peak.
No, I'm talking about the whole, like the fact that we started with our YouTube channel, and then it turned into our YouTube channel for AL Squared.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we tried to do festivals, which now we don't do any of that, but it brought us to this point. It was a slow,
yeah.
It's a slow journey.
And all that stuff, all those challenges that we went through.
We learned how to start a business. Like there was so many things that we learned from those opportunities.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Don't discard the things that you tried were a success and then failed.
Yeah, even if they're failures.
Even those are what you're going to be using to step on to the next challenge, which our current challenge, or our current project that we're doing right now, is this podcast. Poco a poco se anda lejos. For me, if we take just the one section of my life that I feel like I was very successful, would be in my high school year. I played soccer for the high school team.
Mm-hmm.
And started from freshman year, when you actually have to try out for the team. It's not like only if you choose to be in soccer, you're going to be in soccer.
You have to try out.
You have to say you want to even try out for soccer. And then it's the coach's decision whether he gets you or not. So freshman year for me, first day or first week was a whole week of tryouts, or like 2 or 3 days of tryouts. And then by Friday, they would tell you if you made it or not. I went in freshman year, first week, doing did the tryout. And from my perspective, I tried my hardest. I tried. But at the end of the week, I did not make it. So that's where that journey for me started of like, you know what? I'm going to be better. my whole focus became, I'm going to train more. I'm going to be faster. I'm going to be stronger. So that's what got in my mindset. So what I started doing, they right off the bat, they took me into this PE class, and in the PE class, I would literally, I would train still soccer stuff. Like, I know there was like other stuff, but that they made us do. But whenever I was there, I would tell the coach if I could go to the track and like do a mile,
What?
and then I would come back and then do whatever they were doing. And PE in high school, it's like it was that
It was
blow off class.
Yeah, it was like almost recessy, right? Like they just let you play
Yeah.
basketball. Some kids can just sit on the bleachers. At least in my PE class,
Yes,
right?
it was just like that. And like there was days where like, hey, I don't got anything planned out for y'all, so just use it as study hall or something.
Mm-hmm. So you would actually go to the field and just go do laps.
I would go to the field and tell my coach, the person,
the PE teacher.
I guess he was the PE teacher, whatever, if I could go to the weight room to do some lifting.
And what would they say? They would just let you.
No, he would say, yeah, just let me know. Well, he had to go open it, and then when I'm done, go tell him, because he needed to go close it back again.
So you would do like lift weights, or what would you do? Then?
I would train, lift, lift weights.
And you just like dance bachata in front of the mirror.
No.
Just kidding. Imagine.
No. It's not what I did, and I was
Sorry.
I was so focused in that little journey. I took it day by day. The coach purposely would schedule us to play soccer like twice a week instead of like basketball twice a week.
Oh.
And we would just play with the people there, and I would get to practice because I was so like focused, and he saw that I cared. And then since I made it my purpose to either get good enough to next year get on the team, I knew it was going to be a long wait to even make it to the next year.
Yeah. So you focused on getting better
Uh-huh.
that whole time.
So because I had all that initiative, and I started like practicing myself, and also outside of school soccer, I would go play soccer with my friends all the time too.
Were you kind of surprised that you didn't make it because of that? Because I know you have a soccer childhood. Like you played soccer as a kid.
The thing about this high school is that the people who came and went to go try out were kids that have been playing in teams
Like in leagues?
and leagues, soccer leagues, since they were small and young. So they're like the soccer moms.
Oh,
they had the
right,
soccer
right.
moms, and they took them like we did this weekend actually.
For our nephew? Yeah.
He's like 3 years old, and he
just
like
started
went
his little soccer.
They did nothing, by the way. I was
Oh
just
my
laughing.
God. It was so cute. I love it. I can't wait for the next one though.
So there were kids that they were playing soccer since their parents took them.
Right. And then you come in.
My playing soccer was, I would always play individually with people, but not a team. And in other words, I was not coached.
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of the skills. So whenever you have the basics of soccer, it's like you know how to control a ball when it's passed to you. You know how to kick it to someone properly, or shoot a soccer ball. You know all this stuff because they've been training you on all this stuff, all these drills.
¿Y tú no sabías?
You know how to communicate with your teammates. You know how to ask for things. You know the rules también. That's another thing. I didn't know none of that stuff. I just played soccer, and I would
For
just
funsies.
go. My dad would take me actually to Cascaritas, and we would play in the street, and we would play with 5v5 or 6 versus 6 or whoever came in. And so mine was like chaotic. I knew how to play soccer, but it was chaotic. And I guess that's what the coach saw. And when it came to a team, he probably asked himself, which will help me more? The people who will help me more in the team is people who know how to play in a team and that are coachable. And here, there's this kid that he knows how to play soccer, but he doesn't know a lot of the rules, and he's very chaotic. I don't think I can have
And
him on
he's
my
Mexican.
team. Oh, that's the
No,
other thing.
just kidding.
That school was like probably like 80% whites, 15% African American,
And then 5%.
and then like
Beans.
the other one was like mixed, like between Asians or Latinos.
Oh, really? It was that low?
Yeah. When I tell you that most of the Latinos that were in there, like I had an ESL class,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of them too were not just Latinos. They were also from Asia, people from Asia, people
Mm-hmm.
from Iran or other places, not just Mexico. So that was really interesting because in the other classes or other schools that I went, it was mainly Latinos in ESL. In that high school, since it was a different population, the Mexicans were really minority.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are the kids that I was going against with.
So that's why, because of the opportunities that those kids had as a kid, they probably had more opportunities to be in like little leagues and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It just all played.
Yeah. For them it flowed.
Yeah.
For me it was like I had to learn that way of playing. So
So
but the thing that I connect the Poco is that I set it in my mind. I was like, I'm gonna train every day. I'm gonna do better. Every day, every week, I'm gonna become better. And it got to the point where like the PE teacher put in, I guess, a good word
Aww.
to the coach and said, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what this kid's been doing. Even though he's in PE,
You knew he did that?
he told me. He told me that hey, don't worry about it, man. You'll be in the team.
Next
No
season.
sweat. Like because I told him that like yeah, I didn't make the team this year, so I'm gonna work really hard so next year I make it to the team. And he's
How
like,
inspiring.
and then he's like, don't sweat it, man. You'll be in the team this year. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, I just heard that they're gonna do another tryout, but for the practice team, and you can still be in soccer. You just won't play on the games.
But you're still on the team.
But you're still in the team. You get to go with them, and so that's how. Even if I didn't have to wait the entire year to get into the soccer team.
So when it came to the next year, you were already playing in the games?
I already had a foot in, pretty much.
Okay.
Like I was, and I didn't slack off either way.
Yeah.
I didn't slack off. I said like I knew I was practice team. In
American
that
years?
first year, when I was practicing with this high school team, that's where I learned how to properly play in a soccer team. And that helped me a lot to the point where like next year when I tried out, I actually made it to the team, and I was also starting in my position that I played.
What does that even mean? Starting?
Meaning that I was the lead one. I was the one that I had my position.
Middle?
I had the position. There's only 11 positions,
Mm-hmm.
and usually a coach gets around like a couple of extra people to see if like the person here gets tired, he switch them out and gets another one. So there's the 11 position fills out, and then each position kind of has a replacement.
Really?
Yeah. So I was I had a name.
Guy.
I had my position, and that was.
So you weren't filling in for anybody?
Yeah, I wasn't filling in for anybody. So that's what I earned. But it took me that whole year to like practice, understand the game, and honestly be faster than a lot of those kids.
Like, I hear all your stories about playing soccer.
And you know nothing about that because by the time I met you, I had left soccer completely.
And here's the funny thing. When I met you, the youth group would play soccer. We would go and play or whatever. Yeah. And I was in my own little world. I would go run, work out by myself while like everybody else was just playing soccer. And I missed that opportunity to see you like I didn't even turn around. I missed all of that just to see you play. I didn't get a chance.
No, yeah. Soccer was a big part of my life, and that's why I use it as in like it got me to the point where like I played after that making the team. I moved up the rank and each year I remember that the coach would do a the at the end of the season they would do a little ceremony thingy. There was three recognitions that you would get, but they would also break down the whole year for the whole team, the whole high school team.
Mm-hmm.
And they would say like from this team the MVP was this person, the best goalkeeper was this, and blah blah blah. And the thing is that and every time that I participated in that, I received the Spirited Award.
Every time?
Every time.
Which was what? What did that mean?
It for me, it literally means poco a poco se anda lejos. Like I was putting in the days. I was putting in the work every day. I would show up every day to practice, and I was the most hardworking one. I was the one that was trying the most. I was putting in the work. On top of all that, I also had a part-time job at McDonald's. So even on top of that, and the coach, there was this one time that the coach, like, he was mad at the whole team, but to use me as a example, he said, you know what, y'all are over here not trying, y'all are slacking, y'all are not doing the things that you need to do, except for one person, Alejandro. And on top of that, just to put all of y'all and recognize that y'all are not even at his level.
He said that?
He said, I saw him walk to work this one time. And then the next morning, he was here practicing and not complaining about the workout or the runs or the practice that we had to do because it was tough. And on top of that, throughout the week, I still saw him running in the neighborhood.
He was stalking you? Okay.
No, but literally the I remember this one time I was running because I would do that. I would go run in the neighborhood, and I was running in the stoplight, and I hear like someone shout my name. It's like Alejandro, and I'm like,
"It was your coach."
And then from the back, like I didn't see him, but I saw a car that I knew it was my coach's, and then I was just remembering it's like, oh, I guess he saw me or whatever. And this other time, I didn't know he saw me walk to McDonald's this one time because I didn't have a ride. But I would do it sometimes when I didn't have a ride to go to work.
You'd walk?
I would walk because it was
McDonald's over there?
Yeah. It wasn't that far, but it was still like a thing as in like, oh.
So like not anybody just walks anymore.
Yeah, no.
To their job.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So he used me as an example to show that like this is, if y'all really want to work hard, look at this example.
Nice.
And for me, that kind of like gave me that confidence or that perspective that like if you want to achieve something, you have to work hard. You have to put in the work a little by little, and then eventually you get to the position that you wanted.
It adds up.
This is just to acknowledge that by putting in the work, you can reach far.
Wow. I'm about to cry.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
So that's how I think about this. Let's actually move on to what does the actual definition
A ver,
of the dicho.
All right, so this is the Spanish description of what poco a poco se anda lejos means to Google. Significado. Si queremos que las cosas estén bien hechas, hay que realizarlas con calma. So, Chiva Piano va lontano literally translates to quien va despacio llega lejos. That's the literal translation from Italian to Spanish.
I guess in Mexico, it's known as paso a paso se anda lejos.
Paso a paso se va lejos.
It's the one that we throw at people most commonly. But it can also be said, el que va despacio llega lejos. Same meaning, different words, but it definitely impacts people differently if said either way.
For me, poco a poco se anda lejos. I think that one's cute to me.
You think that one?
Because it I mean, it's the same message, but poco a poco just literally means like little by little instead of slowly. Quien va despacio is, you know, taking things slowly, but I don't know how big the project is. But poco a poco, for me, that really means like doing your morning routine, having that mindset every day, just like today I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen. It's those little things that count for me in my eyes.
They're using time instead of steps
Yes.
as reference.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big difference. And because when it comes to projects and to the dicho overall, yes, it can be implemented with time. It can be implemented with steps, like a journey. It can be implemented with moves.
Moves a week.
Moves of a project or homework or a business. But definitely time is also a good way of seeing it, as in like going slowly, like the tortoise.
Mm-hmm.
He was not only going slow, lento.
He was going steady.
He was he was focusing on the steps also, because each step requires you to do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you focus on the steps slowly, you make sure you do it right. So don't try to hurry up on those steps, because you could mess up, or you can move real fast that you think you have an advantage, so you get distracted and you take a nap. And then,
which is what we have experienced in the past.
Yeah. So that's why this is a dicho that has made it across time
and languages.
So it's not only it's popular in Mexico. It's a popular Spanish, but it's universal.
Also, yeah.
It's universal to human. It's a human experience, and it's been verbal in the past. It's been a verbal thing that you've been sharing this through word of mouth and peer to peer, and then a lot of it has been converted into like written form.
And right? Now we're here in podcast form.
And now we're doing it podcast form. We're sharing these dichos in the digital world.
Very well said, Alejandro. That was beautiful. You should be a motivational speaker, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I got teary-eyed in your soccer story. Yeah, that generation that taught us the dichos will be gone one day. And what is left is what they taught us.
If there is not a continuation of propagating these dichos or spreading these dichos can die with the old generation.
Yeah.
And we are helping in the survival of those dichos and to pass on further to the next generation. And that's where you and you and you
and me and you
and us and because this is something that we want to talk more about, and it's very good knowledge. It's very good.
It's good to self-reflect as
and
well.
It's also good to know when to use those dichos and then instill these sayings to the young generation that's coming, and for them to hear these dichos and reflect the same way we did and ask themselves, what do you mean that step by step we can go far? What do you mean by poco a poco se anda lejos? And they start asking that question themselves and reflecting that small acts can take them really far in life. And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
this is KEDICHO.
Este fue el primer episodio. This was our first episode of KEDICHO. I hope that y'all y'all understand the whole mission and the whole idea of this whole project, and that y'all stick through, and that y'all follow us to continue getting more episodes and more content regarding los dichos